Hello, viewers. Reduction in allocation of funds by various governments is not new. It has happened in the past and it will, of course, happen in the future also. Generally, this is targeted against a particular project or a scheme. But what has happened this year is unprecedented. The slashing of funds was targeted against a particular ministry in the union government, and that ministry lost 38% of its funds compared to the last year. The ministry who lost the money is the minority ministry of the union government, and people allege that this is targeted against the Muslims. Moreover, the apathy of the government doesn't end there. The entire financial system is hostile against the Muslims, it's alleged. Today we have with us noted economist Khalid Khan. Mr. Khan has been constantly writing on issues of financial inclusion, education, equality, and employment. Welcome, Mr. Khan. Of course, the first question will be, is the slashing of funds to a particular ministry unprecedented? Never happened in India ever before.
In 2021 and 22, the allocation had increased, but between 2022 and 23, it has reduced. So to tell that, I think it will be difficult to tell that the government is reducing the budget allocation consistently. I find two reasons for this. This current reduction. Earlier, in fact, soon after coming to the power in 2014, in the next budget, you will find increase in the allocation of budget for the minority community. And similarly, this 2021 and 22, there is an increase between 2022 and 23, a remarkable reduction. I see two reasons for this. One is next year's election. So the government is looking at the electoral situation and its possibilities, and it is trying to utilize this statement in its favor for electoral victory. Second is there's the shift in the focus towards tribal community. In the budget document, the highest increase, the group-wise numbers show that the highest increase is for tribal community. The budget allocated for the tribal community has increased remarkable, and this is in consistency with the with the political position of the current government, and in fact the party. They are trying to attract tribal voters, and I think the some appointments also show that this government is interested in tribal community. So, and Muslim community, of course, they are still hopeless. They will not vote for them, or a minority of Muslim community, maybe 5%, 8% will vote for them. So they don't find any kind of reason to allocate money for them. And I think this will happen next year also.
But Mr. Khan, the minority appeasement, which some say is very bad for the country, others say that minorities need upliftment. But this has been anyway happening for a very long time. A lot of decades has passed. And can it be argued that minorities has benefited, like the Economic Committee, which has submitted very recently their findings and suggestions to the Prime Minister? They say that the minority communities has benefited a lot in the last 50, 70 years to a lot of government schemes and handholding. So isn't it time to have a check and scale a little bit down on the spending on minorities? And like you said, in the budget, there's a thrust over the tribals, which is also fair. But I don't know on whose expense.
Yes, it is blamed that minority appeasement has happened. But minority appeasement, I don't know how will we explain this, and how do they explain this term appeasement. Appeasement has happened, but appeasement of some leaders has happened. Muslims, they are the worst performing groups across religious groups. For example, in higher education, only 15% of Muslims in 18 to 23 years, 15 to 16%, they are enrolled in higher education, colleges and universities. This figure for all India is 26%. OBC, Hindu OBC, who are considered backward otherwise, they are also doing better than Muslims, 28%. Scheduled caste, 20%. Tribals are close to Muslims. Hindu high caste, more than 40% of them go to higher education. Similar is the situation for every indicator. In employment, the most concerning aspect is their high concentration in informal employment for Muslims, and they are employed in self-employed activities. This means that they are engaged in small businesses with low capital base, and this shows that they are working for survival only. So the claim that Muslims have been benefited much is not valid, and there is no history of um, of any special support for Muslim community for such socio-economic upliftment.
I will intervene there just for a moment. The educational upliftment of the Muslims, which you said that it's not happening enough. But if you see about the figures, which was come into the discussion in the last after the budget, was that a lot of money has been slashed. But that also means that there was a lot of money before. For example, pre-metric scholarship, post-metric scholarship, civil service prelims training, free coaching training, educational empowerment, and money was allocated in these huts for a very long time, and now it has been come to the discussion because that money is missing in this budget.
No, in budget money was there, but if you calculate the per head allocation of the money, means the money allocated vis-a-vis population, the figure is lowest for Muslims. I don't remember the figure. If you need, then I can share it. I have done this calculation earlier. So the lowest amount per head is allocated for Muslim, so far money is concerned. Second, generally, what happens when people see budget document, they see the money allocated, but they missed the most important part. That is whether these money have been utilized, which is shown in the revised budget. I can again share one figure. This is for last year. Last year, the allocated amount was rupees 50 crore for minorities, means 5,050 crore rupees. But amount utilized was 2,612 crore, means only 50% was utilized. I'm telling that Muslims are backwardness at the level of education, first. Second, within education, the choice of subject, disparity exists there also. Muslims are generally displaced to those kinds of subjects which do not have any opportunity in the market.
Why is that?
I think this is because of one reason is the socioeconomic backwardness. Second is the disincentive. There is a famous theory in labor economics. This is called self-fulfilling prophecy. If any community finds low incentive in the labor market in terms of earning and employment opportunities, then that community will not invest in their education, because they see that there is no benefit of being educated.
So educational backwardness is a multi-layer problem. And at the same time, the financially, economically, the upliftment of the community as a whole, forget about the schemes and things that will help the community to come forward in the social strata. Let's speak of the banks and the loans allocated to the minority community. I have read a study which says that in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, in different intensities, whenever the Muslim community in a particular area grows, actually the bank branches reduce. It's a very curious situation. I don't know why. Maybe you are in a better position to explain.
You touched the bank issue. One of the major problems for Muslim private enterprises, those who are belonging to underprivileged groups, including Muslims, is lack of fund. This comes from the secondary data also, government sources. Lack of fund. Second, uh, their location is not in main market. They generally establish their businesses in their own locality. So they are doing their businesses in their ghettos. Access to mainstream locality is low. Then discrimination means denial of bank loans and credit facilities. I have one study. I did one study for ICSSR. It was on religion-based discrimination in urban labor market, and this is based on field survey in Delhi. I interviewed many private businesses, those who belong to Muslim community. They also shared that low fund and low access to bank credits are the major problem of their backwardness. I asked them reasons. One reason is their documents are not in. Actually, banks generally deny on this ground that they don't have proper documents. But these respondents did not deny discrimination on the basis of religion.
Is it a perception thing? Because the persons you interviewed belong to the community and they feel that they are victimized. But do we have any data to corroborate the information?
I did an indirect study on this. Data means whatever we do on field, it will be based on perception, focus group discussion or in-depth interview. But if any community is feeling being discriminated, then there is a high scope of presence of the discrimination. We can't deny it, and it is visible also. We need scientific studies to establish it, but it is quite visible in media and everywhere.
So every unfavorable factors already present in society, and on top of that, the government has shown apathy to the community with the drastic budget cuts. So
Yes.
In the coming days, what do you see? Is there any hope?
There is a hope, but hope is not from the government, because the trend is not that not in that way. But I will not blame in any particular party. It's not only the BJP which is from which we should lose hope. It is also from opposition, and this is the reason is the political environment. In before 2004, Muslims were in.
You mean 2014?
Four. I'm talking about four. Before 2004, Muslims were considered a major player in the electoral outcomes. So programs and schemes went in their favor. After 2014, now Muslims are not considered a major player in elections, because the 2014 result has established that any party can win without support from Muslim, and it can win through more than 300 seats. The problem with opposition, if they speak about Muslim backwardness, they will be blamed for Muslim appeasement, which is now this language has taken the mainstream position in politics now. So they are not going to, neither opposition nor the government ruling party is going to speak about Muslim, or they are not going to take any strong action for the upliftment of the community. But there is the hope. Hope is from within the community. I find many organizations, NGOs, serious about the upliftment of the communities.
You said about the hope for the future coincides with your personal journey also. Is it true? Can I say that?
Yes, true. It coincides with my personal journey, because I joined JNU in 2008. When I came to JNU, I came as a student who wants a degree from a premier institution of India, so that he will get a job in a central university. This was my goal when I joined JNU. But during the my period of my study in JNU, my understanding shifted. shifted towards the social issues. And I started thinking about the underprivileged groups. One is genius responsible. Second is the environment, student activism. It influenced me. Third, my own research. I did my PhD with Professor S.K. Thorat. He works on issues of marginalized communities. Then post 2014, means post 2015, when I finished my PhD, many Muslim organizations, they started contacting me that they need um, research support to understand the community, the situation of the community. Then till then, I used to work on education and employment from the question of public policy, mainstream debates. I was not that much into the community specific questions. I wrote only one paper in 2015 on Muslim backwardness in education. But after that, when these organizations started inviting me into their programs, I could I understand the situation of the community, the seriousness of different groups within the community, and because of their request, their support, I shifted to the issue, the question of the marginalization of Muslim community deeply. So in general, I work on the issues of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and minorities, and also backward communities. But I think this personal journey post 2015, due to the activities of different NGOs and organizations, I find new kinds of research question. Why the backwardness among Muslim community exists? How can we solve it? And what kind of interventions or what kind of interactions the community can do with the government, irrespective of the party ruling the government. Whether last week I was in fact I attended two conferences, one in Lucknow, another in Delhi. In Delhi, it was the release of a report for socioeconomic condition of the Muslim community in Delhi. I contributed one chapter on employment. One program was telling, there was a mixed opinion. One group is telling that we should not be much hopeful from the government. We should try to uplift ourselves. Another group is saying, no, we know that the government will not support us because of the political condition. Still, we should try to establish a dialogue with the community. So these kinds of debates are happening within the community also. And of course, these are affecting, I'm still thinking, what should be the approach for the for the upliftment of the community? Should we go into the dialogue with the government so that these kinds of cut could be avoided in the future? Or we should forget about the budget and such a committee, everything, and the community should think about their own upliftment? I don't know what is the answer, but it will take some time to come to a conclusion.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, Mr. Khalid, for talking to us. And thank you, viewers, for hearing us both. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Welcome. Thank you.